first thing, the agenda. Last week we talked about some free breaking changes. We mentioned what they were. We mentioned that we could not mention our best yet. And we talked about the issues to fix for 1.0. And today, what's the date? Oh, what? We already have a page. Oh yes, I created the page to say next week everyone will be on the same time zone. So next week Europeans will move by 1 hour again, back to 1 hour after current time. So topics done. Then what else? Topics. Demos. And there'll be 2 weeks without a Dean demo.
Dean is a bit busy, so it's going to be 3 weeks, I'm afraid.
No Dean demo. Will there be an Antoine demo?
No.
No Antoine demo. Oh, no. Will there be any demo? No? Okay. I'm not sure I can show anything. Did I do anything?
I've brought some ideas, some concepts for the Orchard redesign. I would love to share with you guys a PDF for the topics if you're interested in a few minutes.
So topics. It's Paris, right?
Yes. Yes, Paris. Sorry for the backlashes.
That's weird. It's like a hacker tried to join.
Yeah, this is how it signs on for me.
Teams has started doing that for me as well. So it's,
Yeah.
It's a little strange. It's escaping everything. I don't know why.
So Paris
So we just brought
design.
some, yeah, Orchard redesign.
Okay, so we'll talk about it. We'll have time. No worries. Thank you. And demo, topics Paris design. I was expecting Antoine, you would do a demo about the automatic setup tenant. That would be nice to have one. Since you represent every contributor that can't join the meeting to do their own demo, and you know all the features, it would be great one day.
No, I haven't tested it.
Oh, you will. I'm sure you will need it.
Yeah, Dean told me he was in love with it.
Oh, you use it, Dean?
It's great. I couldn't do a demo of it today because I've got too much stuff open on my machine. But if I don't have anything else for next week, I'll rustle up a demo of it. Really good, really useful. I think I need auto log on as well because that's the one last step to get into the site. But
you know, I need that for my benchmark, so I want to see how it works, so I don't have to dig myself. Okay, topics. That Paris will talk about the redesign. What else? What should we talk about? 1.0, just do a status check because we want to make it progress to see what's remaining. We find a few issues to target 1.0. And I think that's it. Status then, status for Orchard 1, something was merged. I got a notification. Something was merged, 19th of March, prevents throwing exception when href is null. There was a null ref exception here that is now managed. And if it doesn't return anything, it will be string empty, and then that will continue to work. So that's the fix for Orchard 1. HostCore, the 16th here. There, while we were doing the meeting, Mario was adding Lucene tests. Adding Lucene tests, that's interesting. That was a PR. People usually don't do PRs to add tests. That's interesting. And just tests. Wow. Let's set recipe harvester, just formatting, test recipe harvester. Is that related to Lucene? Recipe harvester, so I assume that's
yeah. So I actually gave that because there's a recipe for setting up the Lucene tests, but the recipe is in the test project, so it just needs a harvester.
Okay. Cool. Simple query wildcard as result. So this is testing the querying for Lucene. And when I say querying, I mean the custom format, not just the standard Lucene format. Yeah. That's cool. This should use an arrowbars here, so we don't have to escape everything. Well, we still will have to escape everything. That's what is sad with C#. You can't have correct JSON because it's colliding, formats are colliding. That's great. Okay, so good test. SEO module. It's funny because I was talking about it this morning with Kevin Welsh, and then I checked if it was merged, and it has been merged. SEO module, great. And so the topic I was talking with Kevin about was redirections. So there is nothing in this module for redirects.
No.
Then while talking with Kevin, just so that it's talked about at some point, redirections. I think it should be a separate. It should be separate from the content items. Well, as a primary way to manage redirection, it should be separate from the content item because you might want to redirect something to something else that is not a content item. It should look like as much as possible as the default formats that the middleware, the redirection middleware will take into account. And I think there are 2 or 3 formats that the middleware supports, including the Apache redirect format but ideally, if we can also mention like redirect to this content item by alias or by something, that would be nice, or maybe out of scope. But yeah, we should have a redirect feature in this module at some point where we can edit all the rules. Probably the same as in Orchard 1. I think we had a module in Orchard 1 because I think I made a parser to parse the, or I was parsing the format to build it, to create the redirection. The Apache format, I think so.
One of the quite common things to do is have a URL tracker, like a 404 tracker, where you kind of actually record 404s and are able to push redirects through to that parser or whatever middleware is managing it. From there, it's quite useful.
Yeah, super nice idea. Detect 404s to be able to create rules out of it.
Obviously, we could create rules from auto route when you change routes, but it also gives you the ability to sort media out and other decoupled type scenarios as well.
It's great. That can be a separate setting / feature. Rules. Be able to edit rules. with the standard formats. I'm just thinking like a plain file where you have the rules in plain file or in JSON or something like that, the file. And
yeah, that's like an htaccess or a web content or something.
And if things like this are automated or help to that, that would be nice to be able to see the diffs or the evolution of the file, the history of the file, so that we can see that, oh, the file was changed and these rules were added. Like a history, like a list history of the file.
Yeah, and you get the kind of the URLs that it's coming in from as well. So you get a count on how many pages are getting hit with that 404, and you can see whether it's coming from Google, for example, because you've changed your routes and not refreshed your sitemap, or what the referrers are. That kind of history type stuff.
I don't want to type referrers. I never know how to type referrers. Too many R's. And all right. Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Antoine, for importing that. Thank you, Dean, for writing it. We can close the PR from sets. I see it's not closed yet. So is it a drop-down, collapsible? Antoine, was the change made?
So I think right now it's probably still cards. We should debate the card versus drop-down versus collapse thing a little more.
Cypress 671. Okay, let's be better. I can bet that this is wrong. I don't know why, but it's usually wrong. Remove unused var. Interesting. Okay, because this, and that's that by itself. That's the idea, I think. ZoneOnDemand tweaks. Everything was broken last week because of that change. It's due to my 3 changes and removing some dynamics. Okay, so now it's all working. There is this thing that is handled. You can check if a zone is empty or not. In this case, it's section defined. But this should be the same as that also now. Well, there is a zones dot is defined or is empty. We'll see that somewhere here. Is not empty. Yeah, because usually you want to check if it's not empty, then you want to render it. So you do dot zones dot is not empty, the name of the zone, and that will check that for you. Chatter is adding dots on every comment in a file that is changing now. I don't know why. I usually think that's the standard, but I don't write a dot if there is no other sentence in a single line comment. Yeah, all these checks for IShape, dynamics, and zones. Good. Fixing bugs, remove dynamic usage from IShapeTableProvider. This is optimizations from Yanis to remove the dynamic keyword everywhere we don't need the dynamic keyword. The dynamic keyword is mostly used when in the views, when we want to access parts and fields that are not modeled with a strongly typed class. And we need to access entities by their names. And we don't want to do like in double quotes with dictionaries, we just do foo.bar and that will work. In the admin, well, in the C# code, we usually don't need dynamic anymore. We can always map it to a shape, an IShape, or a strongly typed model. So it's removing that, which makes things faster. You see here, so instead of doing content dot something, and there is no type check at all. It will just try to cast that to a string. Now we just say, get the property handle, give me a string. So that's exactly the same behavior. It's a dynamic property, but it's faster. Default VS Code builds to net 5.0. I'm confused when I'm in VS Code because I never know which one to pick. There are like 10 of them. Netcore launch, console, debug, web, release, attach. And I never know which one I should pick. I just want to run without the debugger. But it looks like it's always attaching a debugger. See, web debug. Okay, so it will launch. What's the difference between console and web debug, for instance? Netcore launch.
I don't think there's an awful lot there. You know, that will launch it and it'll compile it in debug mode. So run it in debug mode. It might start the web browser.
Maybe it will launch a web browser, but
Maybe.
My confusion is here it says web debug. Okay, so it's a debug target. It's building as debug, but this one it's also building as debug. And there is no such thing as console debug here. And when it says debug, I'm always confused if it's building as debug or also attaching a debugger. That's what's confusing. And I would assume that, yeah, so that's confusing. I don't know if there is a solution. Here, web release, this is release, and I can understand that there is no debugger attached, but I'm not sure that it's not actually still launching the debugger. I need to check that. Okay, I will try again after this change then to see if it makes more sense. And that, yeah, that's weird. Like from VS Code, launch with publish self-contained. There could be a task to publish as self-contained, but I don't see the reason to launch as publish self-contained. For me, it's a publication task. It's not a running task. There is no reason to run when it's published as self-contained. Just run in release or in debug. Just publish as self-contained, but publish and run as self-contained doesn't make any sense. I don't see any sense in that. So. Rename invalid package is a name for OrchardCore.AdminDashboard. Okay. Name. Okay. Expose background tasks events to be able to know when a background task starts, to be able, for instance, to create diagnostics. Executing, executed. I should have looked at it more closely. This doesn't make any sense. I think to pass a cancellation token to a executing thing, I wonder how it's used. There is a token here. I don't know what this token is. Yeah, I don't see what you would do with this token. Invoke async, executing, executed. So it doesn't hurt, but there is no stopping token. Okay, that's even worse, I think. Because here there is a custom token that is passed, which is not even the one from the Lambda. So what is this token? That should not be in the, so here it's used in the executing, but then what is this token? Maybe it has nothing to do with that. But it does. Okay, now two things here. Okay, so the token is passed from there to there. I don't know what this stopping token. Oh, I see. Sorry, this is to, I did that. So this is to prevent a Lambda, what's the word? Instantiation, allocation. The state here is passed as a parameter there. So stopping is copied into this argument, which is passed to that method as that. Okay. So we pass the same token, stopping token. I don't know what stopping token is, but definitely I don't think it should be sent to an executed. That's weird. We'll have to check. HostString tweaks also in the API controller. Tweaks, and this should be a static. But I assume here it's mostly to reuse whatever HostString can already do that we don't want to do, like concatenating ports and things like this. Fix OpenId background tasks. Okay, updating SQL. What did you fix in that we need to update that? You did the fix, right?
Yeah, what was that one? That was the ISN extensions to use the collections as well, because the background task was throwing exceptions there for a couple of days.
There was no way to do an is-in filter in a specific collection. So then added it to YesSql. I don't know if you heard, my daughter doesn't have internet anymore. I don't know why. I can see. So that contributor MD. Did I miss it? Here. Oh, the missing test. Okay, thank you. Where was I? I was here. Cypress. Oh, so fast. It goes so fast. Antoine, you should take some time first. Let give it a week. Maybe you'll get less updates.
Yes.
Fix and PM bills. Okay. Just another page versions. That's weird. This is your initial. The rest are log files, so that's weird. The initial change is an order. Update GitHub actions to node 15. Why do we use node 4? Cypress version. Okay. Window function. Oh, huge PR4, huge complex one from Lempersky. I don't know the name. New SQL support for over and partition by stuff. Well, you just type over, apparently. This is the only change. No, you can also type partition, stuff like this. We looked at the queries, for example. I have no idea what it's doing. I think I've used it once, like 2 or 3 years ago, and I don't want to ever do it again because it's too complex. But apparently, it's working in all databases we support: MySQL, PostgreSQL, SQL Server, and SQLite. So it's fine to accept it if anyone needs it. And but now I'm confused. How does it render? Oh, it renders the same in every database also? Now I'm confused. Where is the rendering of the thing here? That's it. Okay. Well, that's just a parser. But that's also building it. So the parser is actually building the SQL query. Interesting.
Yeah, because they were SQL 2003, like quite, relatively speaking, late features. I think the syntax is the same from database to database because it's quite a format, which is great.
I was scared. Like, where is the code for SQLite, for instance? It's the same. Okay, so it's just the same code. Good. And using, I assume, some dialects where it's necessary. I don't see any dialect usage, which is kind of worrying. I don't see any dialect here. So for instance, when you say term.name, not sure what it means, but or maybe it's inside this code. Okay, I trust the test, but the test only run on SQL Server. So you see here, oh, yeah, okay. So if it's coded like this in SQL Server, it will be fine also in SQLite. Okay, that's good. Thank you. And they are triggered by logging event handlers. Okay. Quarantine doesn't look like American or English name, so we say Corentin. Map shapes public properties that we were missing. You could not do shape.classes in your liquid templates. Now it's fixed by Thierry. PagerShapes use IShapeFactory and cleanup. Going over every shape. Interesting. What is that? Pager. Oh yeah, instead of using the new, which is a dynamic cast of ShapeFactory, again removing dynamics when we don't need them. So using directly the ShapeFactory, because it's a magic thing that if you access a property name on the ShapeFactory that is dynamic, then it will create a new shape of the type of the text you typed here. Yeah, so we can just say, create me the shape, name that. It's just better, C#.
And one day we'll make it a view model.
And one day we'll have view models for everything instead of using a dynamic shape like this. We will, so here we'll type the type of the view model we want. So it will be a shape of type pager current page with the C# type, maybe pager current page. And then we'll be able to have strongly typed views also, instead of passing a dynamic shape. Well, sorry, an IShape, which you have to cast into a dynamic to access the properties of the current page. Properties being new, being value, route values, and pager. Okay, so the idea is that here, instead of that, we'll pass a custom class for that. It should not break your code, but it should make the instance work for every pager template. Fixes LiquidUserAccessor. Ready to liquid. We are not supporting all the properties again, so we fixed it. Make redesign checkboxes more constructive in dark mode. Okay. String HTML to HtmlContent, just two classes for liquid, so we don't have to encode stuff if it's already encoded. And there were two things doing the same thing with a little difference. Now it's just a single one using the best of the two. Fluid IHtmlContent converter. Yeah, automatic conversion of if you try to render an HTML content, it will render it correctly. That's the idea. Or if you try to render a shape or whatever. Yeah, automatic converters. When you use this object in Liquid, so it doesn't call the toString, but it renders them correctly. Liquid user identity accessor, same thing, a property was not accessible. Chantieri fixed so many things, they are crazy. Same thing, culture request, all the properties that were broken. So many things. Plus some refactoring. Very good. Font awesome 513 fixes notifier rendering only one message. Okay, maybe issue with zones again and dynamics. Okay. This just we can change that to hash.combine. There is a method in since netcore 3.1, I think, that we just provide different properties and it will create a hash for us. So here is hash.combine we need to use parent and potential zone name. And we can remove all this code. Shortcode rendered once. Okay. I don't need a bug, but what kind of shortcode is that? Template shortcode.
It might be identified. I think might be something that was done at one stage for recursion, so you couldn't recursively call your same thing. That seems familiar.
GraphQL dependencies, code mirror dependency, workflow max recursion fix. Okay, well, fix to add a custom property to not be able to run Stack Overflows in workflows. Stack workflows, Stack Over workflows, SQL indexing link, missing liquid site properties, fix Docker Windows push. Nope. Nope. This is the release CI. So if this is what I think it is, then it's not the dev, but it's the latest. That's what I think should be a change. If Jasmine was here, he would tell us because he fixed that recently. It's latest here. That was the issue. We need to set a tag and latest is unreleased, but this should not be called on our dev pipeline because this is release CI. I have an issue here. Oh, and I don't understand what's the release file again. Commit transaction is a new feature. Okay. Because usually we don't need to use it. So let's hide it. Fix typo in dynamic cache, a good example for cache query. Okay. Yes, it work. Pluralization typo from Brent. Carter contributor and update setup tenant task from Arnaud Roy from StatCan, so Canadian, working with Jean-Philippe to fix wrong, not even documentation, but actual code here. Yeah, with the setup tenant activity. Good fix. Awesome. Boom. Done. Now, demo/topics. Paris. Is it related to a demo that we saw, like someone was working with Lombiq?
Sorry?
Are you related to Lombiq?
Yes.
Okay, that's
we're,
the continuation of that. Okay.
Yes, we've been working for and with Lombiq for about 2 years now on various design and business related jobs, basically.
Good. So do you want to share something, your screen? Or?
Yes. Yes, 1 second. So a few months ago, we started talking about doing a brand update for Orchard. I'm just finding the first PDF I posted on GitHub, just for a point of reference. 1 second. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Super. So this is the current state of Orchard and Orchard Core. So there's about 4 types of logos at the moment.
There is only one. I'm sure that someone invented the C around the O core. I believe it's Antoine. I'm not sure.
Oh, Antoine. Yeah. I thought only one. I misunderstood. Yeah. So at the moment, there's about these 4 types of logos that are in use, and what we were thinking about is to basically build a system. So a new system with a single logo type plus typography and an emblem version. And we took a look at the current logo, why it could need some updates, because there are some small parts here that could be updated. It's much easier to use in manufacturing or wherever. The leaves aren't symmetric, so there are just some small things we need to do for refreshing the brand. Basically, we put together some good examples we think are good for logos, and so there are just some small things we need to do for refreshing the brand. Basically, we put together some good examples we think are good for logos, and that's one part. So this was the main problem, having too many logos.
Should we pause here to get some feedback? Because I'm sure you will talk about other things.
Yeah, if there's any feedback here, but I would just like to show you what we've done so far with the update, because this was just a point of reference why we started the whole project. And I'm just sharing my screen again. Second. So this is what we came up with. Basically, we're trying to continue with one version, and what we did was basically there's 2 options we can go with. One is the first one, which is a small update of the original logo. You can see that we took this little piece off. The leaves are all symmetric and all that. Or we can continue with a bolder approach of the logo update, which is basically trying to keep the leaves in focus. These are only just draft versions, so we will be still working with this. And we've also decided to choose 2 types of typography. One is this one. These are both the same. And there's a bit bolder approach, a more techy, more crunchy approach, this typography. And here are some colors we started to pick that will be standardized colors. So everybody will have access to the colors, they can use them, obviously the fonts as well, and the logos. And here's some more colors that we can use on a whole palette. And here are just some quick mock-ups on how this could look like if once there'll be a flag erected with the new logos. And the goal today for us, it would be really helpful if you could give us some feedback on which version shall we continue. Do you like it? What you don't like? Is Could this be a better way to unify Orchard visually? So you're welcome to give any feedback.
But you said no feedback yet. So when?
Oh, now you can give us feedback.
So I will start because my mic is open. I think it's great.
Okay.
I like the fact that you mentioned the 4 different usage of different logos everywhere. I understand that's bad. That's good to have the single thing. That's great. Then when you open the screen with these 4 options, I was like, what? That's so ugly. And after 2 seconds, I'm like, well, it's actually nice. I like it. I'm like, because I was not used to seeing the logo, the first one at the top left, like changed. I was like, no, it's wrong. Yeah. It's not the correct logo. And then my mind switched. I'm like, I forgot about the past. I'm like, no, it's nice actually. And even the bottom one, I find it's also super nice. Thinking about from a newcomer, I'm sure it will look super nice, super neat, super simple. And the fonts, yes, I mean, they're also nice. The 2 of them, I have a slight preference on one of the 4 options, but I mean, they're all super nice, super good, super. I like it.
There's actually two options. So there's two symbols and 2 display fonts. So these are the same. Yeah, these fonts here are the same, and these are the same as well on the right side.
So let's hear from other ones from the meeting. Who will start? Antoine, your mic was open. You can say something.
Yeah, but I don't really have an opinion. I like the left one, maybe the typo of the left, and I don't mind for the icon.
But what do you think about the redesign itself? I mean, do you think the previous one is better, or the current suggestions are actually better?
The new ones are good, yeah.
Okay.
Also, what we decided to do here, it's much more simple. So these will be better to, any of these are better to use on digital surfaces, or if you're planning to print any T-shirts or anything that's physical merchandise, it's going to be much easier.
Sorry? I've done the vectorial representation of the thing for the shirts every year for the harvest, and it always worked without any issue. But I still like the simplicity of the thing. It's okay to remove the little comma on the bottom. Yeah.
Especially
Dave,
in small sizes.
Yeah, I think I could get used to the new bottom ones. Just like he was a little hesitant in the beginning, but yeah, I could get used to it. I think the bottom ones are a lot more simplified, and if we're going to change anything, we might as well go for something completely new, which I think the bottom ones are.
Yeah, what I find interesting with the bottom logo is that it's a different view of it's like a schema of the tree. The top one is more literally leaves and branch, and the bottom one is like it's a fake one, but you can still understand what it is. So it's nicer. It's like modernizing the tree.
Yeah, I like that the bottom ones make a lot more use of the space in the O. So the leaves are taking up a lot more space, whereas the top ones, the branch or the stem, is on the smaller side of things, which not too sure about. So in terms of use of space, I think the bottom ones are good. Fonts, I am terrible at fonts, so whatever works, works.
And also, just to let you guys know, this is a display font, so this will be only used in the logo and not in any other text on the website or anything like that. So we will pick another font that works on all screens and all surfaces for text.
I do have a question though. Is this color different from the current logo's color?
Good question. I think we used the green is from Lombiq's color palette, actually, because they're not fixed colors at the moment. So this is everything we see here is just a draft.
Yeah, well, I like the current green. It's more olive green, I think. This one is more. This one's too green. Yeah, I think. I'm not sure what others feel about
We have all the colors. That's okay. I'm not used to any color because we've used all of them everywhere, like changing the colors based on like we have blues, we have greens, we have maroon or olive, we have black, we have everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a bit more green than the olive green. And while the olive green looked quite good on the logo, every time we've tried to use it in any of the backgrounds of the themes or anything, it just comes out really washy. So I quite like the idea of it being a little bit more vibrant, because it becomes a brand color. So you need to be able to use it in other places as well.
Yeah, you have a point there, because I did think about it in terms of using it on the flag, and it wouldn't have worked. So, but I'm sure whatever color is settled on will be perfect.
Yeah, thank you for your trust.
So when do we change the logo? Well, I want to change it everywhere.
Which of these options shall we proceed with doing some final versions?
Honestly, I think we should upload one of these slides in an issue and let people decide. And I don't know how, maybe probably let's start an issue and explain the logic, and then 4 different answers, and people can put their thumbs up on each of them, even on every one of them if they like all of them, and then we can decide from there. We can also delete the issue if we don't like the result, the outcome of the votes.
Yeah. Start from scratch. Yes. Yeah. There's a GitHub issue where I've already uploaded some parts. I'll upload this there. So if any feedback on how to vote or which one shall we proceed with, we'll proceed with them, and we can show you the results.
Was that a question?
No. That was
okay.
Just
statement. Okay. Good.
Yeah, statement. Yeah.
Was that a question?
No. That was
okay.
Just
statement. Okay. Good.
Yeah, statement. Yeah.
Yeah. So we will do the issue
and
see. Yeah, but that's very nice. Definitely much better than what we have today, and have some consistency in the logo, in the font, everywhere. And the fact that if we decide about something, then we can tell people use what we decided and not try to invent anything.
Yes, and that will be the hard part. The community has to push forward is to don't use all the old stuff, just use one consistent thing, because I've heard OrchardCore is really starting to explode, so it's gonna do some good for it, some consistency.
Yeah, that's what Lombiq sold you, but I have no idea if that's true. As long as Lombiq says that, I will trust them. I have no idea.
Yes, that's what they're telling me.
But that's interesting, because if I would take one example, I know that William Best has a custom variation of the logo, and that's interesting that we should ask him to make a new version of the logo based on or just ask him to use the official logo and not try to vary the logo for the brand system. I don't know. That would be interesting. At least to follow the same design principle. That would be the minimum. And I'm sure that would be fine for every partner to follow the same principles if they want to reuse the name and the logo or a variation of that.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I don't want to rob any more of your time. I will upload this to the GitHub issue, and we can start a bit of a discussion there on which version to proceed with.
Okay. Thanks a lot for that. That's awesome.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening then, or I don't know what time it is over there.
It's all the times everywhere for us.
All the times everywhere.
Yeah, we are everywhere.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Thank
so
you.
So you're in Hungary also, right?
Yes, in Hungary. So we're in the Hungarian time zone. I tried to come last week, but I got here for the end of the meeting because the time was changed. Yeah. So anyway.
I think Gabor was not here either. I think Gabor missed also then.
I was here.
I think I seen him.
Okay, sorry.
I saw him in the last 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much then.
So did I miss,
talk to you online then.
Did I miss some comments? Antoine sharing the issue. I will open it just to see what he said last time. Just a year ago. Yeah, I think that's you, Antoine, who made this thing, trying to. There is something like that in ASP.NET, no?
Yeah.
I like this little comma here. That's nice. I think it's cool. I like the new ones, but I think it's cool. Okay, so this will be updated. I didn't see the recent updates actually.
I think.
Yeah. No. Questions, comments about that or other topics? Anyone? So topics. Logo and font. Feedback on GitHub issue. 1.0. Let's do a quick check about the 1.0 issues. We added a few of them because they might be important. Let's see, milestone 1.0. Not that many. Test upgrade from RC2. Dina has been working on that. Oh, now a new one with shortcodes. Yeah, apparently from what Jean-Thierry said in the comments about this issue, it might be that the feature was not enabled. Or maybe there was an issue with the renaming.
It could be a combination of both, and I'm just not sure, okay. But I suspect that when we first introduced shortcodes, we didn't actually have a feature. So RC2 was quite a long time ago, and there may not be a feature, or it may not have been at the time, but I'll have some time to look into that and figure it out.
Dashboard widget. Oh, this we haven't solved yet. We talked about.
Yeah, I think maybe the idea we came up with. Did you not comment? Did I comment on? Oh, you commented on the PR. We commented on the PR.
You see, I'm not the only one to lose the track of this issue.
There was an idea on the PR that we have.
Okay.
Which seems like a reasonable one to try and sort it out.
This one will close because nobody is answering to it, and nobody has had the issue either, or tried to repro the issue. So nobody is impacted by it, even if it doesn't exist or exists whatsoever. One less thing to do. Test migration. This one is the only thing to kind of implement, but it's just set configuration. And this one to verify. So that's it, plus the PRs that we want to take fixes and things like this, but that's pretty close to be able to ship. Good, questions? All good, on time. Then that's the end. Next week, the usual time. Like before, next Thursday, 10, no triage this Thursday, or we'll do that another day. I have an appointment at the same time. I can't be there, so no triage on Thursday. So we'll meet again on Tuesday and chat if we have anything to do instead of the triage. Okay, thanks everyone. See you next week.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye.